Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Let's talk about what we can predict happening within the markets the next week. Especially, we could be seeing some increased volatility with some major political news that we got today in terms of the presidential candidates and really what this could mean for volatility coming up here in the next week. We're going to be talking about how Palantir Technologies kind of all intertwines and incorporates this, especially as earnings is coming up here now, August 5th post-market. That's only a few weeks away, ladies and gentlemen. So we have some important details to talk about, especially at these price levels right here. Could the momentum that we've been seeing in PLTR and the support that's kind of been tested and relied upon right now in terms of a micro level support, that's what I'll call it, could we see the 30s here in the near future? So if you are a new or returning viewer, hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. Pop it up. Palantir Technologies closes here at 28.58 on terms of Friday's trading session. Basically consolidates on the day. We're seeing that trading volume hanging around that 50 million, good for PLTR. And right now, with the political news that we have received, Palantir is up nearly about 1% in the overnight hours at 28.75 right now on Robinhood. Now, it'll be interesting to see here, will Palantir have that next push? Because what we've seen is almost this level of support that's starting to be relied upon, I want to say, at the 27s. Now, this is no critical level of support by any means, more of a micro level of support in my opinion, but interesting to see that this 27 was the resistance point back here in March of this year and now kind of being tested as a support level. Of course, the $30 level is that resistance point, and I think if we see a breakout or a push above that and we see PLTR holding the price above the 30s, that's when I think we could see a little more of some institutional and retail FOMO that comes trickling in to Palantir that could help accelerate it to these higher levels. Short volume is kind of staying relatively consistent with the trading day before. Now, talking about with PLTR and what we have seen if you haven't seen this, one of the big predictions that we've talked about recently, I want to quickly recap here. Talking about how Dan Ives has came out here and saying that PLTR could shoot up to $50 per share in 2025. Now, that's a very big prediction to make, a rally that would correlate to about a 67% upside from Thursday's intraday high, basically where it's sitting at Friday. Now, backing up the bull case, and specifically what he points out here, is that PLTR has been generating significant demand across both we've seen on the commercial side of things with AIP, and of course the governmental side of things. We've seen like with the Titan contract, for example. A lot of public news and contracts have been released that does show the investors, retail and institutional, that Palantir is doing a wonderful job. And his optimism is really being carried away here with the AIP platform, talking about the market share in terms of the whole industry that is pooling money into these AI stocks, and Palantir really being a leading competitor within this market. And I couldn't agree more that Palantir really is taking advantage of AIP to tap into the private sector and really to help exponentiate its exposure. We've seen, of course, with the Oracle partnership and working with these different companies to help bring more clients, improve conversion rates, and also increase retention rates, which all have a positive impact on revenue. And that's where we go with earnings August 5th post-market. Earnings per share is going to be at 8 cents. We've seen 7 bullish revisions in the last 90 days and 2 in the bearish direction, which has been relatively consistent for this quarter. Let's take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, MooMoo. Now, MooMoo is your one-stop trading app that offers free commission trading along with very powerful investment tools, making it easier for you to make those confident decisions within the market. Right now, new users can sign up utilizing my welcome bonus down in the description, and you can get up to 8.1% limited time APY on uninvested cash and up to 15 free stocks with a deposit. You also can get up to a $300 transfer in bonus, so you do not want to miss out on those rewards. Make sure you check out MooMoo down in the description. Back to the video. And what I want to talk about next, of course, we see S&P 500 futures right now that are ticking higher. And right now, we do have these political landscapes in terms of political leadership that will bring a lot of volatility possibly to the market after we've seen changes in the presidential race. Now, the reason why is because a lot of analysts were actually kind of expecting this news to occur and seeing an increasing likelihood, especially after the debates and what we've seen. So with this being said, the market could have already kind of expected this, and we could actually, in fact, not see a ton of volatility within the market. Things that we're going to be really looking for are kind of what are the probability of those first interest rate cuts. That's a big thing on the radar for investors, even consumers, as we've seen mortgage rates that have actually continued to drop. Good for the consumers. And also in terms of what's going to be happening with the additional markets and outside markets, such as crypto. Will we have different types of booms and volatility happening with there due to this political news, and what's going to be happening with the bond market, treasury yields, and of course the overall market? That's only going to come with time, but we'll be keeping you guys, of course, up to date on what we could expect. Now, other things that we're going to be talking about here are NVIDIA. NVIDIA levels are continuing to rise, and we are seeing a little bit of a retreat, and this was due to the tougher trade restrictions and geopolitical risk. Now, what we saw with NVIDIA and where it specifically sits right now is down about 2.6%, sitting right now at $118. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing for NVIDIA, the fact that we're seeing a little bit of some cooling off right here after we've seen such this exponential and extreme run up with the stock hitting a high here of 141. And of course, this is the post 10-for-1 stock split, but a little bit of some stability here is really important. So that way we don't see this large correction with NVIDIA. With these geopolitical risks, basically, this is just how we're going to see in terms of trading within the chip market. And this is not just affecting NVIDIA specifically, but all of the semiconductor chips. Now, we do see a lot of analysts that are continuing to keep their price targets pretty high for NVIDIA. We've seen in the 140s, 150s, 160s. So even though, like I said, we're seeing volume that is trending lower and about a 9% pullback right now, I think there's still room for run and a lot of momentum within the whole market. Now, with NVIDIA, shares are kind of in the long-term uptrend with the 50-day moving average right here sitting comfortably above the 200-day moving average. It's trading sideways here. Like I said, this is another reason from a technical perspective that I am not yet concerned. Now, one big thing that we are specifically going to be excited for Palantir Technologies, and one big thing I think that we're going to be looking for that will be critical for earnings for August 5th post-market is going to be looking at what we're going to see in terms of revenue, and I think customer count is going to be really important. And also, we're going to want to see an advancement with AIP that shows us that more customers are coming on board, and also revenue is being increased, not just from, I want to say, governmental contracts, which of course will be important to look at, but also seeing the diversification with their clients, and that's going back to the whole commercial side of things. So I want to know in the comments, what do you think is going to be happening with the markets this week? Of course, with this political news, number one, do you think Palantir will have a push here to the 30s in the near future before earnings, or do you think we're going to see kind of trading sideways here or even pulling back? Lots of things to discuss. Great to be back. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Check you guys down in the comments. Peace out. Take care.